So areas are great. They help you to visualize what projects, resources, and notes are related to key areas of your life. If I go into an area page, you can see that it shows me all of those things at a glance. Over time, as you make connections between the Knowledge Hub, projects, resources, and notes using backlinking and relations, you can see at a glance how much work you're taking on in different parts of your life, and also how your knowledge, resources, and notes are growing with your experience in that area. But so far, most of the area pages might have been left as a blank page, and left you thinking, what am I meant to put in here? What I want to explore in this walkthrough is how you can make these area pages more actionable by creating contextual dashboards. What is a contextual dashboard, you might ask? It's a place for you to visualize the essential information you need at a glance to help you move that area towards its goals. It's like being in the driver's seat of your car and having all of the buttons, indicators, and controls you need within an arm's reach. Sometimes you might want to share that area page with collaborators. Another way contextual dashboards can be helpful is by using Notion's invite features so that team members can have a shared hub that they can work from. A third use for the areas page is a contextual dashboard that's structured a bit more like a mini website, allowing you to share all of the resources and notes on a certain area if someone ever asks you for an overview of what you've been doing or what you've done in that area. Creating this nicely decorated contextual dashboard in an area page might include an introduction about your experience in this area and links to all of your helpful resources. You could also create this in a resource page. It's really up to you. The possibilities are endless, but for this demo, I'm going to walk through how I would set up a contextual dashboard for a team working in the marketing strategy area in my areas database. To get things kicked off, I'm going to use the new area template inside the marketing strategy page. This will create 4 new linked databases to my Knowledge Hub, my projects, my resources, and my notes. Notice how in the projects database I can see client 1 and 2 because they've already been related to this area. Each of these databases uses a slightly more advanced Notion feature called self-referential databases to filter for only the notes that are relevant to the name of this area. To see how self-referential databases work, I've left a link to a more detailed video in the top up here. This is super helpful because now every time I want to relate a new Knowledge Hub source, project, resource, or note to this area, it's going to show up here so I only see the notes that are relevant for this specific area. To demonstrate that, let's make a new resource called Marketing Plan Template and link it to the marketing strategy area. If I go through this link here, you can see that it's showing up in the resources link database. Kind of cool, huh? You might be asking yourself, well, isn't that just what these things and these fields at the top do? Why is that any different? Well, yeah, it is kind of the same, but you don't get the same flexibility and customization options as you do if they're in linked databases. Okay, so what are we going to do with all of these linked databases? Well, they're the start for our contextual dashboard. Let's say that I'm working with a small team. I want this page to be our shared team dashboard, a place that we can go to every morning at the start of the day and know exactly what we should be working on with all the resources at our fingertips. Okay, so I'm going to start creating this dashboard and speak out loud as I'm building. I want to start by making this a full width page, which I can do up here and click on full width. I'm going to create a team gallery so the marketing team always knows who's who. I'll create that under here. So I'll hit /gallery, call it team. Right now, the card preview is showing me something which is inside the page, but I want it to show the cover of each page. First, I'll go in and add covers, and I'll just use some generic images from Unsplash by typing user, and this shows me some images of cool humans. Adding a second team member. So right now I'm grabbing them all from Unsplash, but you can quite easily upload an image to the cover here using the upload feature. So those are not showing yet, so I have to press properties and click on the card preview and change that to the page cover. Great, they're a little tall, so I'm going to change also the card size to small. There we go. And now I have my team gallery. Next, I'm going to create a table so we all know what tasks need to be done and add a person property to it so I can assign tasks to different team members. I'm going to create another database underneath this one and a regular inline table and call this team to-dos. I'll add a checkbox so I know if it's completed or not. I'll add that responsible person field so I can assign tasks and change the property type to person. Right now I can only select me because I'm the only person in this workspace, but if I wanted to invite somebody using all of the different share features. I also want to create a deadline so I know when things need to be completed and change the property type to date. Add some dates. I also want to be able to see the same to-do database in a calendar view, so I'm going to create another calendar down here via a linked database. So click link database. I want to find that same database, team to-dos. Here it is. And add a calendar view. I'll call it cal view. Let's give these some names. Task 1. Task 2, task 3, and notice how I can see them here. Same database, just different location. Great. The calendar view doesn't need to take up so much space, so I'm going to add this resources database next to it. However, to get 2 columns in Notion, you kind of need to do this little trick. I'm going to add a blank column underneath this and then duplicate this block by selecting it first and hitting Command D. Now I have these 2 blank blocks. If I click and drag one of them next to it, I get the blue line to appear on the side of the empty block. If I let go, then I now have 2 columns. I'm going to move my calendar into one of those columns and see how the line only goes halfway across the page. Great. And then I'm going to move the resources database up to the second column. Nice. I'm going to do exactly the same with the to-dos and the team gallery. Nice. So this is shaping up to be quite pretty now. I've got my to-dos, I've got my calendar, I can see who my team is. There's a bunch of resources here. I'll make a couple more just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And the Knowledge Hub, I don't want to have this always available, so I'm going to hide it inside a toggle and then click and drag that database into that toggle just so it's tucked away and hidden. The projects page I'll leave underneath the to-dos calendar. So that didn't copy into the same column. I want to put it just underneath. Great. And then this notes database is actually my own personal notes, so I don't want that. I can just delete it because it's a linked database. Then press / list, scroll down a little bit, and I get an inline list database. This is called team notes, and maybe I want to give it some tags, so I'll press this is meeting notes in the tags. Maybe this one is to do with strategy, and note number 3 can also be a meeting note. I'll move the Knowledge Hub right to the bottom. Great. I also want to be able to have all of my tools quickly accessible for this team. So what I want to do is create a row of bookmarks across the top so that we can jump into our favorite apps as quickly as possible. In Chrome, I've already loaded HubSpot, Hootsuite, and Buffer. These are just 3 different marketing tools which a team might use. So I'll copy and paste that into my Notion workspace at the top and create a bookmark. I'll do the same for Hootsuite, put that underneath, Buffer, and then arrange that into 3 columns by moving everything around like that. Nice. So it's a rough sketch, but hopefully you can see how contextual dashboards can become a way for you to organize information in powerful ways that support specific areas of your life to move towards their goals. As I said, this is just one possibility for your areas page. Really, it will depend on the goals and purpose of each area.